How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Scarlet, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves some new Pokemon rumors to talk about, and also a big leak. So sit back, relax, and let's get right into it. Starting things off with this right here. Now, what are we looking at? Well, basically, ladies and gents, we have now, confirmation that there might be an announcement coming for Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Yes, a new Mystery Dungeon game might be happening. Now, why is this important? Well, because this happened. So, Central Leaks, who is just a big source of posts for leaks and stuff, came out and said the copyright text for Spike Chun Soft has been found in the files for the new hashtag Pokemon Together website, which could hint at an announcement during Pokemon Day. This was found, by the way, by Bri Pokebip, so shout out to Bri Pokebip for this. But basically, within the website's code, they found a reference to Spike Chunsoft. Now, if you don't know who Spike Chunsoft are, we're gonna quickly Google them here for you guys just to give a bit of a general, consensus of who they are. Now, they make multiple different games. They have their own things that they work on, like they make some of the Danganronpa game stuff here. But one of the things that they also work on is Pokemon, right? They make spin-off games, which there's a lot of studios that do spin-off games. But they have also worked, as far as I'm aware, on some of the Mystery Dungeon games, right? So if you look right here and we look at it, let's see if we just search Pokemon on their page, you will see during the development of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team, they were also, involved there. Some of the games that they worked on is the Mystery Dungeon games for the most part, right? So here you'll see developed, games that they did. Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity, which was published by Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon as well, and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, which would confirm that possibly what we might be seeing on Pokemon Day on the 27th is a big announcement for a new Mystery Dungeon game, like an actual new Mystery Dungeon game, or a remake. The two possibilities are those, right? Either a Mystery Dungeon game that's whole new graphics, new story, new Pokemon set maybe in Generation 9 with, Fuecoco, Sprigatito, Quoxley in them, or this is going to be a remake of one of the, DS, Gates to Infinity or whatever it's called, and those games, maybe one of those getting remade, or even, the Gen 5, basically, Mystery Dungeon games could be remade, or, like I said, a brand new one. I think a brand new one is the highly possible case here, because it would be cool to see, basically, Pokemon, but in a new, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, but with the new Pokemon. That's what a lot of people want, and it will make the game sell better. I'm telling you right now, it will sell way better that way, because it will attach itself to the existing stuff. Now, there is an interesting point here with Soul Silver, who made a post here talking about some stuff, because he had a bit of his own opinion about this stuff. And he says, a short but important and relevant topic today for hashtag Pokemon Day, released for 2023. I think it's safe to say there will be at least one major spin-off announced, which we now know most likely is going to be, this fella right here, Mystery Dungeon, right? So, he says, Ku used the plural 2023 projects every time, meaning that there's more than just DLC, aka one project coming this year. This could be a new mobile spin-off, or even that DLC packs are separate projects. But the way he speaks about it makes me think these are bigger, more important projects, like a whole new Pokemon spin-off game for the Switch. But who knows? All I know is I'm excited. And of course, yes, you can see right here, Riddler Ku. If you don't know who Riddler Ku is, quick summarization of him. He is a legitimate leaker that has leaked stuff correctly and legitimately leaked information for Scarlet and Violet, BDSP, Legends Arceus, Pokemon Sword and Shield, and Sword and Shield Crown Tundra Alabama DLC. So he's leaked information for the past 5 years correctly. But either way, well, I'm not sure if it's 5 years, but last 4 years or so. 3 to 4 years. But yeah, either way. So back to the original post here, he says, with this being said, I really don't like spin-offs like Mystery Dungeon, Detective Pikachu, Quest, Snap, etc. I instead hope it could be a brand new spin-off ID, but more like Stadium, Colosseum, Gale of Darkness, Conquest, BR, I guess, Battle Revolution, etc. Less puzzle and more close to mainline Pokemon. I know, we can't get mainline Pokemon games all the time, but that's the style, and I personally enjoyed that, and a new Pokemon designs. Even Go I played for a day and then never touched it again, and I hated Let's Go. I know it's mainline. Pokken is a weird middle ground, but man, I'll be so disinterested with DP2 or Mystery Dungeon. Never played Ranger, so I'm not sure about that one. Well, Ranger is a good one, and also, I 100,000% disagree with Soul here. I think that the games that we are... Detective Pikachu, I'm not a fan of that. Pokemon Quest, I actually enjoyed that. Unfortunately, they didn't give us any updates. They only gave it to China. They gave China all the freaking updates for Pokemon Quest and nothing for the rest of us. I love that game. Dungeon, if you complain about Mystery Dungeon, That's fair, okay? Some people just don't like the dungeon crawler stuff. I personally think it's cool. I like Mystery Dungeon. I think it's a cool, you know, separate part of Pokemon. I think it's interesting. The problem is, the things he wants, the things that Soul is mentioning here, is Gale of Darkness, Conquest, which is an interesting one, Colosseum, and Stadium. Now, 3 of these, besides Conquest, right? 3 of these will just never happen. The reason they will never happen, the reason why we got Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, and the reason we got Colosseum was literally because these studios and Pokemon, they wanted to try out the 3D stuff at that time. See how well it would do, right? With Colosseum and XD Gale of Darkness. But those were RPGs, right? Full-on RPGs with regular Pokemon battling and all that stuff, and the first 3D Pokemon RPGs. But they were not mainline games, which means they didn't include brand new Pokemon. They included the Pokemon of the generation of that time, with the only brand new thing being Shadow Lugia, right? It's the only new thing that you actually would have seen. But you know what it is with these games? They don't need to exist anymore. They existed because it was literally a way for the Pokemon Company, right, to try out and see if people would be interested in getting a RPG version, like a 3D RPG version of the Pokemon games, right? But since, you know, Generation 3 sold really well, that they just continued with the sprite art, the sprite style for the Game Boys and then the DSs and stuff, you know, with Generation 4, Generation 5, so on and so forth. Only jumping into 3D in like 2013, right, with Pokemon X and Y, that's when they finally made that shift. But the reason they would never do these kinds of games again is because of exactly that. There is no reason to do it again, right? It would only conflict, right? The only way I could see this happening is if it's like a Legends Arceus type game, right? Where it's like they have another studio just work on a project that's just to test out IDs, to see how those IDs would work. The problem is, this is the same principle right here. We had the same principle with XD Gale of Darkness and Colosseum. They were the same principle. They were an RPG 3D game to test how the interest would be, right? Which turned out to not be that great. The interest for it wasn't that massive. As much as we like to hype these games up, they didn't sell as good as we might think. They didn't sell amazingly. They sold decent, but still not as amazingly as the mainline games, which sold better every time. Maybe that has to do something with the fact that they were released on GameCube, which was already an underperforming console. Maybe that kind of had to do with it, but what I'm saying is, same thing with Stadium. Stadium existed because people wanted a battle simulator, a way to battle each other and, you know, to have like bombastic Pokemon battles in 3D and stuff. Guess what? You already have that in Scarlet and Violet. You already have an RPG story in Scarlet and Violet. Those 3 games right there, Stadium, Colosseum, and XD Gale of Darkness, those 3 serve no purpose anymore in terms of like making games like that. There's no reason for it. The only thing I could see is them maybe remaking these games and releasing them in like HD, like a HD remaster or something. That's the one thing that I think is highly possible, okay? I think it's highly possible that we might see a HD remaster of these games. That's the only thing I can imagine. Everything else, them making a brand new project like this, highly unlikely unless it's like literally to try out features like what they did with Legends Arceus, because Legends Arceus was pretty much just a test game. It was a way for them to test out and see, oh, would people be interested? Would people have an intrigue, an interest for this kind of, like, you know, this kind of game, this style of game, right? Guess what? It was proven. They tried to make a game, see how it is to make an open world game, and then they made a literal open world game with Scarlet and Violet. The only way I would see a game that would happen that would be in anything similar to this is if they want to test a feature, if they want to test a style, and they decide, okay, you know what, we want to test this out, let's see how it works. The problem is, I can't really imagine much else that they would want to try. They've already proven what they can do. We have a Pokemon battling game. We have a MOBA Pokemon game, which is ridiculous. I mean, the only thing that remains is a shooter game. But, you know, we already have versions of everything. The only thing I could see is like a Pokemon MMO, right? Testing that out, which maybe might be a spin-off on a mobile, but I think that's also highly unlikely to happen. But as it's been proven by all those sketchy companies that make rip-off Pokemon games on mobile, you guys have probably seen them. They even email me about sponsorships. I just ignore them, but there's a shit ton of those, like fake mobile games, but they're all MMOs, and they somehow run pretty well sometimes. Some of them are really horrible, and I would not recommend ever downloading them, but some of them actually run pretty well. But the whole point I'm trying to get to with saying this is that that's the only thing where I would see them willing to make a weird game, like a weird experimental game, is if they really wanted to try to do like maybe an MMO. Because everything else, like a regular RPG, they've done. They've already have the battle simulator that's already in Scarlet and Violet, okay? In every mainline game, they already have that, so there's no reason for Stadium, unfortunately. And I'm not saying this because I'm against it. I would love this, okay? I'm only arguing here, I'm not arguing, but rather, the only reason I'm even talking about this is just to make it clear why this is highly unlikely to happen. The only one here that's an interesting one that could happen again is Conquest. Conquest is a underrated game that does deserve a sequel, and the style of this game is something similar more to, if you haven't played it, it's kind of like Fire Emblem. If you've played Fire Emblem, it's a strategic type game. If they made it a new version of this, or an upgrade of this, or a remake, or whatever, right? That would be actually sick. Like, a actual new version of Conquest would be sick. The other ones, highly unlikely, unless it's a remaster of some sort, because they did do that with Snap, right? Snap is a good example of where they can go ahead and remake something, or take an old ID and redo it in today's setting to see, like, you know, people would be interested in it, right? Like, so Snap is actually something that disproves what I've been saying so far, which actually goes against it, because Snap just kind of existed, I guess, for like the camera feature back then on the consoles, you know, for that purpose, and they made it again because I guess there was nostalgia for it. So I guess if there is enough nostalgia for these games, they might be willing to remake them or make a new version of them. It's just that in the RPG ones, like Colosseum and Extinct Darkness, feel like the least likely ones for me. But just because they are big projects, they are big RPGs, you have to have a whole studio dedicated, you know, maybe more than one studio dedicated just to make this whole thing. It takes a time, okay? It's not just like shit out a game in a day. It's not that simple. It takes a while. That's why I'm trying to make this argument that, you know, it's highly unlikely we'll see those. But you never know. You never know. That's the point. You never know. However, we know for a fact that Spike Chun is working on something, which means we might be seeing another mystery dungeon game happening, or even a different project. Because, I mean, they did make, like, some of the games, like, for example, One Piece Burning Blood. I think this is more of, like, in the style of a kind of fighting type game, I guess, is the way to put it. Kind of that type of style, so to say. Unless I'm you know, mistaken, but I think it's a fighting type game. So they have made some fighting type games. They could do that. They've done a bunch of stuff, okay? They've just done a lot of things. So if they are involved and they're doing something, there is a high possibility, you know, that they are working on something else that, you know, might be very interesting. So again, we'll have to wait and see what they're up to. I mean, they make the Danganronpa game, so they could make something in that style, for example, that type of game. But we'll have to wait and see. Now let's move on to the next thing, which is this right here. You guys may have seen my video from yesterday. If you haven't, let me explain. Basically, there's been this massive data mine from El Chico Eevee. So shout out to Chico, by the way, who's a data miner, amazing data miner, who figured out that there is a bunch of unused rooms and locations in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which nobody even knew about. So here is another one that was found by Chico, which is basically, you know, seems to be unused. And yeah, it's just a weird looking room, like kind of looks like either a gym or kind of like a train station type place, which is interesting. And actually Charmy, I think, makes a point here, which is this menu will be, you know, we'll find in the DLC most likely, or this place, which I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case here, if we end up finding this exact like location in the DLC as the place we have to go to travel to, you know, the DLC location. Like, that seems actually plausible. So again, your thoughts and opinions would be appreciated. But now let's move on to the next thing, which is, again, going to be a kind of a small one, but this is a rumor post on 4chan, well, yeah, it's a 4chan rumor, okay? It's just simple as that. So basically, it's somebody saying that they know the information for Pokemon Day and what's going to be happening. So here's what they say. Pokemon Day presents. It's going to be 28 minutes long, which actually would be pretty great. It starts with a message from the creators thanking everyone for the success of Scarlet and Violet alongside reaching 1,000 Pokemon, which sounds reasonable. A short trailer for a new mystery dungeon game that doesn't show any gameplay, just announcing it. Okay, that's weird. A Terra Raid weekend featuring Kyogre and Groudon will be in 7-star raids, with them being uncatchable. However, really good items can be obtained. Cyndaquil, Oshawott, and Rowlet will be in 3-star raids. Okay. The announcement of a new season in Pokemon Go, Season of Power, sounds reasonable. Again, Pokemon Masters EX has a trailer that shows off Red with Mega Mewtwo X, Misty with Gigantamax Kingler, and Alder with a shiny Genesect. Oh, actually, that sounds pretty lit. The problem is I can't even play Pokemon Masters EX because it's actually banned in Belgium because it has loot boxes. There is a new announcement of a new Pokemon series showcasing some scenes and plots that will release later in 2023. Next, there is a Scarlet and Violet trailer properly revealing Paradox Pokemon and leads into a reveal of DLC named A Greater Future or a Epic Past. A Greater Future, Epic Past. Depending on the version, a new art of Paradox Pokemon that resemble legendary beasts of Johto and the legendary swords of Unova are shown. Okay, along with a Charmeleon hugging a large orb. There are also a few silhouettes of Pokemon I've never seen before. One resembles Gyarados, another resembles Drifloon. There's a picture of various characters and even a large new area and tons of caves. The release date is summer 2023 and holiday 2023 as it comes in 2 waves. Okay, so summer and holiday. That sounds just like, you know, Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra. Anyway, finally, there's a teaser for a brand new Pokemon movie. It follows Ash after his journey. Ash's only Pokemon seen is Pikachu. There is a clip of a shiny Jirachi and Ash making a wish to encounter Pokemon like he's never seen before. After, there is a loud lion/bird-like cry and a horse/water thingy, okay? Water-like cry. Nothing from them is seen, but it ends with a journey never ends and 2023. It ends with a Tsunekazu Ishihara thanking us for our time and looking forward to next time. This actually sounds, in a weird way, exactly what I would expect to happen. Somewhat in the direction of what I would expect to see happen. Wow, this actually sounds really good. I'm not even gonna lie. Not that I would be happy with this, because then we would have, like, what? 1 mystery dungeon game, a DLC with new Pokemon and new Paradox forms, a movie that would be about Ash. There would be Masters EX update, Pokemon Go update, and a Terra raid with Kyogre, Groudon, and also, I guess, the starters from Hisui, and that's about it, I think. So yeah, I don't know. Again, I want to hear what you guys think about this. Let me know in the comment section down below. That's pretty much going to be it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you all for watching, as per usual. But yeah, just want to thank you all for being here. Thank you all for coming through. I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace out, and have a great day. Also, I hope you guys like the new, like, background and stuff. I tried to, like, change things up a little bit. Got a little bit of lights and stuff. It's nice and all. But either way, thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys the next time. Peace out, and bye-bye.